So let's talk about my favorite story time. As a matter of fact, let's not talk about it. Let's get into it. So we start off with a prospect named Bhlademyst. He played second base and he was regarded as one of the top prospects in high school baseball. His senior year, unfortunately, he tore his ACL. He still decided to enter the draft, and even though his draft stock had plummeted, he was still drafted in the 15th round by the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, him being a second baseman and the Toronto Blue Jays having Cavan Biggio at second base and looking to build around Bo, Cavan, and Vladimir Guerrero, he understood that his road to the show was going to be a tad more difficult just because of that. But that would not stop Bhlademyst. His first month in Double-A, he went on a tear, hitting .314 and having an outstanding 14 home runs for a second baseman. Blade was a switch hitter. He was a power hitting second baseman. He wasn't really known for his flashy defense, but more of the bat he could provide in the lineup. So throughout his first couple of months in the minors, he actually was the designated hitter instead of the second baseman, since the Toronto Blue Jays also had Devin Travis in Double-A, and he would be the starting second baseman because he had better defensive attributes than Bhlademyst. Now, Blade, knowing that Cavan was the starting second baseman and that they would be building around him, Bo, and Vlad, decided maybe it's time for a change. But he didn't want to go to the front office yet. So the front office actually reached out to him and they said, Blade, we would love to call you up as soon as possible, but right now second base seems to be occupied, so we want you to try something new. He was interested. He said, what position would we be talking about? They said, Blade, we want you to go ahead and try to play center field. Blade said, I've never played center field before on a competitive level, but if that's what's needed for me to go to the big leagues, I'll go ahead and try it out. So they gave him a couple of games, and not only did he fall in love with playing center field, but the team fell in love with him playing center field as well. Now, as the season continued in Double-A, Blade kept only improving, not only in terms of average, but in terms of power numbers as well. But as the season also kept going in the majors, the Toronto Blue Jays actually decided to go ahead and trade Cavan Biggio to the Rockies for David Dahl and another top prospect. This news stunned Bhlademyst because he felt disrespected at the simple fact that the Toronto Blue Jays decided to trade away the second baseman that they were stalling him in the minors for and get themselves a brand new outfielder. Now, the story didn't stop there, as halfway through the minors, his first season, Billy Hamilton was also traded for by the Toronto Blue Jays. So now he was the starting center fielder for the Toronto Blue Jays, and Blade was just wondering what is actually going on. He's working his tail off in the minor leagues, and all the Toronto Blue Jays keep on doing is replacing the top players with players from other teams instead of top prospects within their own team. Now, Bhlademyst, he was a strong-willed kid, so he decided, you know what, I'm not going to pay attention to any of that. I'm going to keep doing my work, and hopefully it pays off. In Double-A, he finished that year hitting over 445, slugging for a total of 75 home runs. He didn't see much playing time in terms of defense, but he definitely made it and helped the Double-A team win a championship in the minors. Now, he started off his second season, and he expected to at least be called up or start off in Triple-A, but that wasn't the case. Instead, they started him off back in Double-A. Now, 2 months into Double-A, Blade received a surprising phone call, and he was called into the front office, and that's where the story is going to pick up. Let's see what happens there. So it seems your performance here in the Eastern League has really turned the heads of the people upstairs. Congratulations, Blade. They're calling you up. Pack your bags. Blade responded, I guess now we'll see how long Triple-A can contain me. The manager responded, you're not understanding me, Blade. You're not going to Triple-A. You're being called up to Toronto. You've made the Blue Jays roster, kid. And Blade, astonished but as happy as one could be, said, "Really? I'm skipping AAA altogether? Holy cow." The manager said, "It's a whole different deal up there, Blade. The level of competition, that is. Still the same game, though. And the brass think you're ready. So just play the way we've seen you can do, and you'll be fine. Good luck, kid." And with that, Blade's Major League story began. So now that he has been called up, you might have been wondering, well, how did the Toronto Blue Jays roster look when he got called up? I think I still remember exactly how it looked. I think I even remember the lineup exactly the day he got called up. So the starting shortstop at the time was Bo Bichette. Second base, as I said previously, they had traded away Cavan Biggio to the Rockies, so the current second baseman was Ronald Torreyes. The third hitter was, as you would expect, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And making his major league debut as a cleanup hitter was the almighty second baseman, now turned center fielder, Bhlademyst. Hitting after him was the left fielder, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Right field was Stephen Piscotty. DH was David Dow. And then playing first base was Tyler White. And doing the catching was Devin Mazzarosco. Now it was surprising that they had shortstops like Kevin Newman on the bench and outfielders like Randall Grichuk on the bench as well. Now let's check real quick because I'm not sure how well he was doing, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't doing as bad. The man they traded away, Cavan Biggio. Now Cavan Biggio in the Rockies, he was currently hitting .261 with 6 home runs, so he wasn't doing bad at all. But he was still a second baseman, and that was something Blade was not. But that's enough of today's story. So I remember myself. I remember making my debut. The Blue Jays were 18 games back of first place. The Yankees were sitting pretty. And I was making my debut against the Seattle Mariners. I remember the date June 2nd, 2020. Now I expected to have made my debut by now. I expected to have made it in July of the previous year, since I was on fire in the minors. But unfortunately, that was not the case. But good things come to those that wait. And I was finally ready. I was finally ready to debut, especially against a legend like Felix Hernandez. June 2nd, 2020. Walking out of the dugout, or I should say walking into the dugout out of the clubhouse. First person I saw was Bo. Bo was welcoming me to the big leagues. It was time for me to go. And the best part of it all was, I was ready. Now let's do some damage. So making his debut, first plate appearance ever, playing center field for the Toronto Blue Jays, is going to be Bhlademyst. Felix Hernandez on the mound, man on first. His first pitch is going to be fouled off, sinker a little bit inside. He drives it very early, so he's clearly still very anxious right now. Bhlademyst still looking to do some damage. Let's see what he ends up doing in his first major league at-bat. He turns on one, hits it right inside the gap. Will that one land? And it will find the glove out there in center field for the first out of his major league career. 1-2 count to Bhlademyst. The pitch, and he drives it to center field. Is this one gonna have a chance to fall? And the center fielder robs him of a double. He fails the challenge of advancing the runner with a ball hit over the infield. As there were runners on first and second, 0-2 count to Omar Narvaez. And he's gonna hit a fly ball. Blade was camped under it, ready to shoot third base if needed to, but the runner decided not to go ahead and test him. Now we're heading towards the top of the sixth, where Felix Hernandez was still on the mound. That was a 12-6, maybe sweeping curve, not a 12-6, in which Blade absolutely obliterated, but that was going to be the same thing as it was previously. A line out to center field. Now 3-1 count to Santana, who was 1-2 in today's ball game. He hit a fly ball. Bhlademyst camped under it, looking to just shoot the cutoff man without a problem, and he made a catch in his second fielding opportunity. So looking sharp out there in center field, of course. A 1-2 count for him currently. Bhlademyst looking to make the play. The ball is going to be hit to right field. Bhlademyst is going to be there to make the grab and ready to shoot him out at third base just in case they want to go ahead and test his cannon. Felix Hernandez, with this pitch being thrown, will mark his 100th pitch in today's ball game. And it's going to be a pitch right in the sweet spot. Bhlademyst hits it to the outfielder, and his first major league base hit. His first major league base hit was a home run to cut the deficit from a 4-0 ball game to a 4-2 ball game. On Felix Hernandez's 100th pitch, Bhlademyst actually went deep and went ahead and hit a home run off of what could be considered a future Hall of Famer right down the line, 357 feet. Bhlademyst got all of that one after squaring up the ball in all three previous at-bats. Whoever is the right fielder for the Seattle Mariners could not contain Bhlademyst in there, and it was GG's after that as the Toronto Blue Jays gave him the silent treatment and celebrated his first major league home run. And with that, the ball game ended. We caught a nice little interview with Blade right after the game, and we asked him, how did it feel to play your first major league game? And all Bhlademyst said was, I'm just getting started. So make sure you stay tuned into my story. Episode 1 has concluded.